Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Tehillim Treasures, where we will plumb the beautiful depths and treasures of Tehillim from the very beginning of Tehillim to the end of David HaMelech's masterpiece. This episode is brought to you by Chazaq. Chazaq is an organization that helps public school children become Shomrei Torah mitzvahs, exposes them to the beauty of Torah and mitzvahs. Imagine for a moment you're standing in a store or you're walking down the street. You know the neighbor. You've known them for many years. You see their children riding their bike in the driveway. And you know they're Jewish. But now there's someone who can help them take the next step. And that is Chazaq, with countless programs after school and other wonderful programs to help expose them to the beauty of Yiddishkeit. If you know someone or know someone that knows someone that can help these children, then please email at psty@chazaq.org. This episode is also brought to you by Chickens for Shabbos. Chickens for Shabbos is exactly what it says it is, plus more. There are many people. There are Melamdim's children. There are Agunis. There are Grushis. There are families that do not have simple essentials for Shabbos and for life. Whatever they need, Chickens for Shabbos is there to provide. Please do your utmost to help in any way you can. Today we will be continuing with Kapitel Kuf Lamed Tes and Kapitel Kuf Mem, chapter 139 and chapter 140, as we continue this remarkable journey through Sefer Tehillim with Tehillim Treasures. Kapitel Kuf Lamed Tes begins, Lamnatseach leDavid Mizmor, Hashem Chakhartani Vateda. David HaMelech speaks of Hashem, and he says that Hashem knows our every move. Sometimes we don't even know our every move, but Hashem knows our every move. He knows our innermost thoughts. He knows everything about us, and He knows even what we never even imagined. But we also have to remember that not only does He know everything about us, but there's nothing that He doesn't know about us. And David says, Achor v'kedem tzartani, back and front, you restricted me. Now what does that mean? Reb Shimshon Pincus explains that there's a Gemara in Maseches Eruvin, Daf Yud Ches Amud Aleph, that says that Hashem created a human being with the front and with the back. And man is described as an olam katan. We are a small world. We live in a world, but each of us individually is our own world. We are a microcosm of the larger world. And in order to explain this, he says that just as man is created with a front and a back, so too the world was created with the front and a back. I hope you're understanding this. Now, when we talk about man, even though we're human beings, but we were created b'tselem Elokim. We were created in the image of Hashem. And when we talk about His front, we talk about His back, we talk about His face, we are referring to Hashem, even though Hashem doesn't have a front, a back, or a face. Hashem is an entity that we can't possibly fathom or understand. Nevertheless, to help us understand Hashem, we refer to Hashem in humanistic terms. And therefore, when we see the handiwork of Hashem, when we are able to see Hashem's fingerprints, so to speak, we see His kindness, we see that clearly He's involved, then we are seeing the face of Hashem. But when we see Hashem in a manner of Hester Panim, when His face is concealed, when we can't properly recognize that it's Hashem's fingerprints and His handiwork, then we're referring to the back of Hashem. And Chazal tell us that when we reached Har Sinai, there were two languages that were revealed. The Gemara Megillah tells us that Lashon HaKodesh, Hebrew, not Ivrit, modern day Ivrit, but the language in which the Torah and the Sifrei Tanakh, almost all of them, are written. That's a language of Lashon HaKodesh. That is the panim of Hashem. That is the face of Hashem. But when we talk about Aramis, Aramaic, the Lashon of Talmud Bavli, the Lashon of much of Talmud Yerushalmi, now we're talking about the back of Hashem. That's the part that is a little more cryptic, a little more difficult to understand. And Rapinka says we can understand this with a mashal. He says when someone's looking for a friend, there's a difference if you see him from the front or if you see him from the back. When you see him from the back, so you see the way he's acting, you see what he's doing, but you can't see if the person is happy, is he sad, is he anxious, is he apprehensive, is he tired, is he wide awake? That part of the person you cannot see from the back. But when you look at somebody's face, everything is immediately clear. And therefore, if you're looking at the face, you could see, is he happy, is he sad, is he tired, is he awake, is he anxious, is he nervous, is he having menuchas hanefesh? So, if you're only looking at his back, you can tell what he's doing, but you don't know why. When we learn in Lashon HaKodesh, there's a very deep idea. When we learn in Lashon HaKodesh, we are more capable of understanding the deeper meaning. Lashon HaKodesh has layers and layers of meaning. After you get through the pshat, there is the drush, there's the homiletic interpretation, there's the gematria, there is the Roshei Tevis. All of these are layers of depth of understanding that we have through learning Lashon HaKodesh. In Aramis, we don't have any of that. We just know the cryptic meaning of the Gemara, but we don't understand anything that's behind the scenes, so to speak. That is the back. But we need to know that that is our limitation. That's a person's limitation. We don't know everything about everything. But Hashem, even though sometimes we're only able to see the back of Hashem Yisbarach, He's always able to see our panim. Achar v'kedem tzartani. So a person, when he's going through difficult times, might think to himself, does Hashem really know what I'm going through? He knows exactly what you're going through. He knows your innermost thoughts and worries, and He's always there to listen and to help. We move on to Kuf Mem. Kuf Mem is Kapitel 140. And in the 140th parak we read, Elokim Hashem oiz Yeshuasi, Sakoisa l'roishi b'yoim noshek. Hashem Elokim, might of my salvation, you protected my head on the day of armed battle. The Metzudas Tzion says that when you see the word Sakoisa, Samach, Kaf, Vav, Sof, Hey, and you can look inside the Tehillim and you'll see it, it reminds us of the word Schach. It has the same meaning as the word Schach, which is also a covering or protection. Neshek is ammunition. Ammunition comes surprisingly from a completely different word, or related to a completely different word that has the same exact letters. And that is a neshek, comes as the word neshika is a kiss. On the one hand, it is ammunition. It's a gun, something that is utilized for mayhem and murder and violence. And a kiss is used for peace and to show love. And the Yerushalmi says that Yoim Noshek is referring to Beyoim Sheshnei Oilamos Noshkin Ze'ezeh. The two worlds are kissing one another. Okay. Oilam Hazeh Yoitzi, the Oilam Hazeh goes out, the Oilam Haba Nichnas. And Oilam Haba comes in. A passage of time. The two worlds lock, they pass each other, they kiss each other, so to speak. And when that happens, when a person leaves this world, the next world kisses this world, and he ascends into the next world. And Rav Shimshon Pincus says that we can really understand this al pi derech hadrush. And he says that the days of Yom Noraim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, are days of Olam Haba. Days when a person is more like a malach than he is like a human being. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, especially Yom Kippur, crying out to Hashem, we're fasting, we're standing, come out all day. We're like malachim. And as that period of time ends, then we enter the world of Sukkot. And the world of Sukkot is a world of eating and drinking and sleeping and joy. It's very much a world of this world. That's the passage. We pass from a period of Olam Haba, a period of time which is so exalted and holy, it almost seems like it's not from this world, and we enter into a world of Sukkot, a world of Sakoisa, a world of Schach. And in order to do that, we need a bridge. And the bridge allows us to go from one step to the next. We know that this world is considered, Olam Hazeh is considered a proizdar, and the Olam Haba, the next world, is considered a traklin. There's this world that we're in now. One day we will pass. That passageway will lead to the palace. There's a moment where those two worlds connect, the moment where those two worlds kiss, and when that world kisses the next world, that's when we enter into the next stage. And it's important for us to know, as we continue to grow, make sure that we understand that there's someone behind it all. There's a story that Reb Shimshon Pincus would say. He says there was once a shlamazel. He was a fool. And he was a person who always found himself on the short end of the straw. Who just had no mazel, had no luck. In fact, interesting, shlamazel means shaloi mazel. He has no luck. He has no charm. He has no good luck. I happen personally to never win any of those lotteries or any of those raffles. I never won anything in my life. Maybe once my wife won a guitar, but that was it. And this person was such a klus that they called him Chazaq. Chazaq means to make fun of somebody. Ma Chazaq is to make fun. And he was the biggest joke. He was the joke of the town. He was unsuccessful in everything he did, came late to every meeting, so always started off on the wrong foot. And one time a friend asked him why he was always late. And he said, tries to be on time, and even woke up when he was supposed to. But when he tried to get dressed, listen to this, couldn't find his clothing. So his friend said, you know what you should do? He says, when you take off your clothing at night, you should make a list of where everything is. And this way you'll be able to look at the list, you'll see where everything is, and you won't get lost. That night, he took off his shirt in the living room, his pants in the bedroom. He left his hat on the table, his shoes underneath the table, sits over a chair, and finally he's ready to go to sleep. And he jots down the location of each item of clothing. And at the bottom of the list, he wrote, and Chazaq is in his bed. He woke up the next morning after a good night's sleep. He was excited. He woke up on time and he began to look for his clothes, couldn't find them. And then he said, I have a list. Oh, I have a list. And he checked the list and he sees, here's my tzitzis, here's my shirt, here's my pants, here's my shoes. It's going to be on time, but there's only one problem. It says, and Chazaq is in his bed. He checked his bed, Chazaq wasn't there. And he could never find him. Obviously, it's a joke, but we have to make sure that as we talk about all these esoteric ideas, and you talk about worlds passing one another, always remember that at the end of the day, there's a person there, and it's you. And you have to realize you have a tafkid in this world, and you'll always be capable of doing it, but never lose your mind and never lose yourself. Until next time, Zagazon.